Good people. Welcome back to another episode of the Blerd Brain Podcast, where melanin meets the multiverse, where blackness meets the beyond. I am your host, Moses, aka Mo Better. We're gonna try that out. We're gonna see if that sticks.
Oh, bet.
And today we have a Blerd Brain First. It's a Blerd Brain and Friends session. I think that's what I'm gonna call it. Today we have a guest, the professionally published and awarded owner of Jackson Photo Group, 1/3 of the talented film studio, Tyler Street Films, writer, director, photographer, Hamptonian, fellow Blerd, freaking astronaut, break dancer, brother from another
All
mother,
right, that's enough.
Jack Manning the third.
What
Good
up?
sir. I appreciate you being our first guest, man.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I couldn't wait to jump in here and talk some blurred business.
Absolutely. Blurred business. That's the hashtag. I'm, I'm,
Blurred
I'm
business.
taking it. I'm taking it. You didn't
Blurred,
copyright
blurred
it.
business.
So look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to take the floor and talk a little bit about what you've got going on and before we dive into the topic, but I'd like to start with a tradition, or I'd like to start a tradition here.
Okay.
Being that you are the first guest of the Blurred Brain podcast, I think, depending on how it goes with you, I'd like to hit each blurred guest with some hot seat, rapid fire, blurred type questions, if that works for you.
Okay. If I
All
can.
right, it's gonna be three questions, and
All right.
that's it. We'll start with three questions. Anybody that's watching, he did not have these questions ahead of time. We're not testing his blurredness because he was a blurred before I was here. However, this is just how we gonna jump into this. First question: top five retro video games, and obviously retro is different for us than it
Okay.
may be from some of the listeners, but we know what we mean.
So I got my son a game stick. It's got
Wow,
18,000 games on it. They're all retro games,
awesome.
right? So I've been reliving that lately.
Three
So,
buttons,
so, so Tecmo Bowl.
nice, classic.
Love that. As long as you got Bo Jackson,
Bo Jackson, that's cheating, but
it is. It is. Uh, Double dribble.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
double dribble because of the slow mo and the dunks.
yeah,
That was one
and
of
then
those
the
things.
camera flashes.
Yes, yes. So Tecmo Bowl, double dribble, first Street Fighter,
Yeah,
first Mortal Kombat. That's four. And then what will be my fifth? Hmm. I'm gonna go very old school here. Contra.
Contra. The
Yes.
you can only see the side of these little dudes.
Yes. And
Got
that
you.
and that's the classic Contra code: up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, select, start, 60 free men.
Okay, but do you know the blood code on Mortal Kombat?
Which one?
The first one,
No, I don't know.
Abacab.
Ab-
Abacab.
Abacad.
Abacab.
Abacad. sounds like some
Bet.
sounds like
Bet.
some Cosby shit.
OBKB.
Abacad.
OBKB.
Abacad.
See,
Abacad.
I gotta somehow bring Cosby Show and shows like that into a topic. So I'm gonna figure that out.
That'll be another. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our next one, five comic book characters, five favorite comic book characters.
Um.
And I'm judging you, by the way.
All right. So my introduction to comics was probably a lot different than yours. Mine
Mhm.
actually came from my older cousin Mark, who used to draw all of it.
Okay.
So the first character I ever saw him draw was Wolverine.
There you go. There you
So
go.
so Wolverine's in there. Spider-Man is in there because that was the first one that I sat down and I started to draw.
Right.
You see that creepy person over there?
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm on a podcast, so you have to kind of
The shirt though. The shirt. You got to show the shirt, bro.
go
There
like,
it is. No, him. Not your shirt.
yeah,
His shirt.
go like this. No, show your shirt. What does it say?
Star Wars.
Okay.
There it is.
Got to raise him right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my nephew, he will be the next guest on the Blerd Brain podcast, by the way.
All right. I forgot what I was saying. Wolverine, Spider Man, uh, Blade is always going to be one. Um, let's see. Oh, one of the other ones I drew was Rogue.
Okay. Okay.
Very thick. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then the last one was Superman, just because.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
I
okay
didn't
with that.
I didn't get into Batman until the movies started to show up
Yeah.
in the late 80s. So I was a Superman kid, and then I was like, oh, but Batman is actually pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, like, and so I started feeling Batman a little bit more, and then things got out of control toward the end of the 90s. They got very like
Clooney.
Batman, and you're like, okay, why does that dude have nipples on his
Right.
costume?
Why are there nipples in his uniform?
So yeah, yeah. So
Right.
Batman is the honorable mention, but those are my five plus one.
All right. I'm not mad at it because Wolverine was in there. So, we're cool. We would have had to end this one
Your bias
early.
is on your shirt.
Hey, I mean, I honestly didn't even plan this, to be
I
completely
didn't
honest with
plan to wear this.
you. I
This
didn't
whole
plan
thing,
it. This was just laying around.
this whole thing,
Uh,
don't mind me.
so this particular question is specific because I knew I'd be talking to you.
Right.
This is your world a little bit more than mine. Well, a lot more than mine. The light side or the dark side of the force, and why? That's the last question.
Um, well, I'm light skinned. Look, so when I was a kid, I was all about Star Wars. Like
Hmm.
there was nothing else, right? Until Transformers came along,
Right.
it was all about Star Wars. So in my head, I was always Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? I was always the guy fighting, fighting for the forces of good. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna stay with the light side of the force. Then when Samuel Jackson comes along, and I'm like, oh, I'm on the good side, mother. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Good with some grit. My
who keeps
sword is
putting
purple.
these
You know.
motherfucking Sith in the you know what I mean? Like, that's the Jedi I want. That's the Jedi story I want to see. I want to see the Mace Windu
Right.
Samuel Jackson story, but he's a
Got you.
little old, so I don't know if de aging is really going to help at this point.
Okay. All right. I would say dark side, but again, I didn't grow up with. I
Yes, I'm a slightly
maybe if
different.
I grew up with that, like I
Slightly ahead.
liked the
Yes.
Superman at the time or whatever. But I think because I look good in black.
Mhm.
First of all, and who doesn't want a red lightsaber? I
Hey
mean,
man,
it's just cooler.
yeah, yeah. I just didn't want to disappoint my mama.
Word. So I do want to, as I mentioned, give you an opportunity to. I know I could be up here for an hour and not give you your just flowers or the right introduction or the large enough introduction. Tell us kind of what you're into, what you got going on, a little bit more about you, and what makes you a blurred at the end of all that.
Okay. Let's see. I already mentioned Star Wars. I am a filmmaker and a photographer. That's number one. I started drawing at a pretty early age. Everything that I drew was science fiction related, cartoon and comic book related. Those were the things that I focused on the absolute most when I was a kid. When I got to college, I actually wanted to get into animation. I wanted to draw the cartoons that you saw on television. And then I got into photography, and things kind of started taking off from there. Um, as a photographer, I started shooting. I would even shoot some of my favorite stuff to shoot would be recreations of nerdy stuff that I used
Hmm.
to watch. So Kill Bill, Bruce Lee, The Last Dragon. I literally did a shoot called Revenge of the Nerds where I asked six people to dress up as nerds, and I went to a high school in DC, and they all participated, and it was freaking hilarious. Right. So I did a whole Revenge of the Nerds photo shoot. I did a break in Electric Boogaloo.
That's got to come back because I got to be a part of that.
Listen, I
Back
can
to the
do it
future.
better now, right? Like that was when I first started, but I was doing
Right.
these little buy-ins where I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come to your city. Do you want to do something different?" And people were like, "Yes." And I was surprised how many people said yes.
Yeah.
So I went to Philly and I put the word out. I was like, "Yo, I want to do a break-in, you know, breaking inspired photo shoot. So one of my classmates, Tori, she was like, I have a guy who looks exactly like Ozone. And I was like, are you serious? I'm gonna send you the picture after this. You can post it. He looks exactly like him. Like it's not even an exaggeration. Like he even came out with the cut off mesh shirt that they used to
Wow.
rock back in the day. Had the bangles, had the parachute pants, but they were pegged at the bottom with the red, white, and blues. I mean, he had the whole look. So the shoot was really dope. So I've always found ways to kind of incorporate those themes into stuff that I'm doing. I did a Back to the Future shoot a couple years ago. I actually rented a DeLorean, you know
That
what
was
I
dope.
mean? And we did Back to the Future, and then we did like a fashion forward kind of spin on it with my muse Desi. So I am always going to like find a place to insert the blurredom into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, right now, I'm actually writing a couple of things where Tyler Street Films is working on a project. My partners, Law and Tiff, we're writing some stuff. But on the side of that, I've already started writing two ideas that I wouldn't say they're inspired by the blurredom that I grew up in. Right.
Hmm.
I don't want to give all of that away, but it's two very cool things that I'm like, okay, if I did this and I did this and I squished them together, like what would that look like? So you have to kind of stay tuned for that. Um, I'm still just, I'm an everyday photographer. I do a lot of events, a lot of conferences, stuff like that. But I'm also a filmmaker, and we're working on a television show right now. It's in development, so you have to kind of stay tuned for that. So and then you and I are going to be doing some stuff in the very near future.
Indeed.
Once we can get some of these schedules together, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, you clearly saw my son. He's rocking a Star Wars T-shirt. We were watching the first episode one, well, not episode one, episode four earlier today, A New Hope, and then Empire Strikes Back came on, and he was like, hmm. So we started watching a little bit of that. So this house always has something nerdy going on in it.
So I can't let you just tell everybody, all of the three people that's gonna watch this, with the schedules thing. Everybody out there, I be trying to get in a film, get in a picture, in the background or something. He just like back in college. He just don't like me, man. He
Yeah,
just
I know he want me, man.
why you don't want me, man?
Okay, so
Good deal, man.
that's not true. Don't listen to him. I didn't know him in college.
He hated me,
Did
man, and
not
I didn't know
know.
why.
I
I'm
was
like,
a lot
bruh.
older, and I was like, "Who's this kid coming up to me? I'm trying to talk to these women."
Hey, so was I. That's why I was trying to talk to you because
Oh,
they was around you.
don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Talk to the ladies.
Well, shoot, man. We today's or this evening's subject. I definitely wanted to get you to be my first guest anyway, as it was, but
Word.
this particular topic, I definitely wanted. This is your world, as you mentioned. Independent, being an independent Black filmmaker, whether it's film, whether it's television, whether it's producing, directing, behind the camera,
Hmm.
you are not just close to. You are a part of the world, and I want to also make it clear that the Blerd Brain podcast is not just about comic books, right? It's not just about cartoons or video games, etc. So this was a topic that kind of just landed on me, and because of you. So
Hmm.
what I want to attack today, or what I want to go over today, is kind of not just being an independent Black filmmaker, but some of the barriers that you face, whether it's you directly that you faced or different things that in the, I guess, in that world that I may not know about. We may, outside on this side of the screen, may not have known, well, this person had to deal with this issue and this issue. And there are specific questions, but just kind of overall, like I said, the overall theme is some things that independent Black filmmakers face that predominantly, well, that white filmmakers don't face.
Hmm.
Um, just from a forgiveness, from a grace, from a failure standpoint, and a representation standpoint. First question. as a black filmmaker,
Mhm.
do you feel like you're allowed to experiment? Like, is there a fear to experiment, or do you feel like you have to stay within a certain guideline?
Um, so there, it's hard to answer that question with just a simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
When you're independent, you feel like you can kind of do anything. When you sit in front of someone who is going to be paying for it, there's limitations that come up, right? I think that a lot of times, just like in music, a lot of time black artists are told to live within this space,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like if it doesn't have this, and this, they don't want to accept it as a black film. I'm
Right.
reminded of an interview that Eddie Murphy did about Boomerang way back in the day, and he was like, most of the cast is black,
Oh,
and
Leno. I think it was Leno.
yeah, and so people were like, "Well, who's running that office?" And
Yeah.
he was like, "We are." And he was like, "Yeah, but isn't there like a supervisor or something? Like, what's going on?" It's like black people can do stuff, you know what
Right.
I mean, with free of you. So you get into these places sometimes where they want to cudgel you into this space. Like, all right, this is where you exist. This is what our version of black is that we want to present.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I see it. I'm not being hit by it yet, but I kind of feel like that's one of those things that I have to be on the other side of the wall to really be able to tell you, like, oh, okay, this studio wants me to do it this way versus when I was independent, I would do it that way.
Yeah.
My first film is called Flipped. Flipped is about our society in reverse. What if Black Africans brought Europeans here as slaves? What if Dr. King was a president and JFK and Lyndon B. Johnson were civil rights leaders,
Mm-hmm.
right? What would that look like in the context of today? And so there's no limit to that as an independent filmmaker. I feel like I can push that out there and people will see it for what it is. Now, let's say it gets picked up by a studio and they're like, okay, we want to make it a feature. They're going to give us notes and they're going to ask us to do things. And that's, it's the business, yes, but it also sometimes can water down an idea. There's probably been a ton of ideas, a ton of films that have come out. And when they were pitched originally, they got transformed between the pitch
Completely
and what
different.
hits the screen.
Right.
So I'm very aware of that. Like the goal for most black filmmakers would to be a Ryan Coogler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can say, "This is the film I want to make," and then you just go make it, and
Yeah.
then it comes out and it's widely successful, right? Hugely successful. That would be ideal. We don't, as black filmmakers, get that opportunity as early and often as we would like. Um, Young lady that her name is slipping my mind that did oh man, it's right at the tip of my tongue. Uh, oh my gosh, okay? All right, pause for a second. Hold up. It was a couple years ago. It was on HBO. It was All right, you're making me go to the phone. I'm going to the phone. Hold on.
Go to the phone, man.
I'm gonna pull this up. Um,
Chat Jupiter.
I feel like it was with Journey Smollett.
Uh,
Lovecraft.
the TV show.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
So
series. Yeah.
the young lady that did Lovecraft Country. I mean, I'm gonna make sure I got her name because I don't want to be wrong, right? Let's see. First of all, I love the show. I thought it was dope. I thought it was really powerful storytelling. Misha Green.
Okay. I felt like something had to have been that we didn't know about,
So the
other than the fact that they were black.
so the word is that season two that she wanted to do was not what HBO wanted her to do. And so she
Okay.
was like, well, then I'm not going to do it. That's the word. I could be corrected. I'm not sure. I wasn't in that meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of par for the course. It kind of sounds familiar. because there's been many a black show that has had to have been like readjusted in trajectory because they wanted something else. We can go back. I was just watching a story about this. New York Undercover. Remember that show? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So from what I understand, they wanted to take the show into a direction that would attract a wider audience. So they killed off Michael De Lorenzo and brought in random white dude.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's when all the everybody was like, "Oh, this is whack.
yeah,
I won't see that no more." Because we weren't there for that guy
yeah.
who we've never ever seen ever in a day in our lives. We were there for Michael De Lorenzo and Malik Yoba. Like
Right,
that was the core of the show. You got rid of one of the main stars, and then you came out with BS later. Nobody wanted to watch that. So that's
right.
another example of like the network jumping in and going, no, no, let's go this direction. Now remember, New York Undercover was on Fox. At the
Hmm.
time, Fox was trying to get out of Black World and start to attract more white audiences.
Right.
So you started watching that transition slowly happening. A lot of times networks are built off the backs of black shows. We can look at UPN, the CW, Fox included.
UPN.
Tubi is doing it now.
Yeah.
Right? Tubi is building up its stats on the backs of independent black filmmakers. And there will come a point when they're going to go, thanks. And then it's going to be deuces to the left. That's why we have to create our own at some point. But I digress.
We do know what UPN stood for, right?
United Paramount Network.
Oh, because I thought it was you pick a nigga.
Okay.
That's
But
what I was told. But oh yeah, we can curse on this thing. I forgot to say so. We can curse on this thing.
um but yeah, so there's been times where shows have been derailed from their original vision to something else because an unnamed executive said, I want to go this way with it.
Right.
So right now I don't feel that directly because again I'm independent. But there may come a point where I don't feel, I might see the other side of that.
Hmm.
So, you're kind of stuck when you're not the one holding all the cards and you don't have the money. You kind of have to do what's being asked of you and then kind of just play the game and make sure you're doing it right, do a good job, be solid. But yeah, there's going to be times where I'm going to completely disagree creatively with something where something's going to
I guess in that same thing with you being independent, still having the ability to do what you want to do you feel like I guess the not the gatekeepers, but the you're barred from entry into certain things being independent because you can create whatever you want,
go.
but do you feel like, well, shit, I got to maybe make it this way to get it through this particular filter, to get it in this film
Right.
festival, to do this, to do that?
So I think the thing that shies me away from certain projects is that eventually I'd like to cross into mainstream, right? But I know that, how do I say this gently? Some networks or streaming
We
services,
don't go gentle on this podcast.
some streaming services would prefer this. And a lot of the filmmakers that look like me are making this.
Right.
But the question is, will those filmmakers be able to stop making this and go make that? And when they go make that, will they be respected the same way that other filmmakers making that already are being respected? Does that make sense? I hope that's not too confusing.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
So when you're being in, you're going for sellability and watchability on a streaming service, but you also want to be taken seriously as a filmmaker.
Hmm.
You have to figure out like where that delicate balance is, right? So I don't want to foray too far off to the left when I know where I want to land is kind of like right here. So yeah, I mean it it's a delicate dance to say the least. Even as I'm
So
answering the question.
right. I mean, and like I said, we thugs over here on the Blerd Brain. So if you want to call a specific, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you
no,
want to call out the end flicks, or I'm playing because I
inflicts.
want you to get yours too. Because as soon as you
Inflicts.
do, I'm right behind you.
Gotta get mine. You gotta get
You
yours.
got to get yours.
Yeah.
Um, I get you, and my hope is that there are people that are going to be watching this that are interested or already in, or at least trying to get into the film. So this is good. This is one, just conversation, but two, educational for folks coming behind you.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever created a project, and have you ever created? First question: have you ever created a project that you were like, I knew I shouldn't have put that out, but I did it anyway? And again, with you being independent, you have the ability to still, pull back. But we
Not
all sometimes, I've written songs where I've been like, damn, I shouldn't have released that and let people know about that because that sucked.
not as a filmmaker, but as a photographer.
Okay.
And it's funny because I've always had this rule when it comes to photography that I don't want to shoot anything that I can't show my kids or my mother.
Yeah.
Right? That was a very big reason why you don't see eye candy in my
Hmm.
portfolio. Like it's eye candy meaning booty cheeks everywhere.
Right.
Right? Every photo is the girls like this. You know what I'm
Like you
saying?
can't pause no other way.
There's just one pose and it's consistent throughout the whole portfolio. And it's just like I have an assortment of asses.
Right.
Look at all of these asses. And look over here. More asses. Asses all around me. And having daughters, and you know this, that's the
Uh-huh.
last thing I want them to see me editing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting here and they're coming in just like Jack did. Like,
Daddy, why you always closing the laptop screen when I walk in?
and then Jack's coming in like, how come his booty cheeks everywhere? Like, I don't want to have to explain that. So it wasn't booty cheeks, but it was something that I was trying. Again, I was thinking as a filmmaker, as a photographer, I was
Right.
trying to create a crime scene. The crime was that the victim was shot by a whack photographer.
I'm very familiar with what shot you're talking about.
So there was blood, and it was a woman laying in a chalk outline. And at the time, the girl I was dating, she didn't like that. She
Mm.
was like, "This is violence towards women," and blah blah, blah. And like, and it took a second because I was like, "But I'm not. But that's not." And I had to think about, okay, well, she's not an artist. She doesn't understand the point of what I'm trying to get. But then I had to kind of I took a step back and I was like, well, can I see it from her perspective?
Yeah.
While I could see it from her perspective, I know as the artist what my intention was, and my intention was not to perpetuate a state of violence against women. It was
Hmm.
kind of a tongue in cheek like symbol. You were shot by a whack photographer. I
Right.
was sent to investigate how this poor photo shoot went, and that's why she's yeah. So on the film side, no, not yet. I haven't done anything like that, but like every once in a while I'll shoot something and I'll probably get the, well, why did you do that?
Mm.
But that's the job of an artist. The job of an artist is to make you question what am I looking at and then come up with a reason why. Right?
Right.
I'm not supposed to lay it all out for you to read. I'm supposed to let your brain do the work and interpret like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. Right?
Hmm.
So I hope that answers the question.
It does, and it gives me a segue into something that I actually, as you were talking, I hadn't initially planned on asking about, but you gave me another topic, and we've talked about this before. In talking about your photography, like, and I don't want to give it an incorrect title, but I'm gonna give it this title anyway. We all, if I was to say, and it's unfair title, but if I was to say, I mean, quote, black photography versus photography, it's just I can always tell, not always, but
Black.
most times I can tell. Yeah, I can see an Instagram page. I'll see yours and be like, yo, this is something that could be in Black Enterprise, but also could be in People, could be etc. I'll see another one, and it's not that it's bad, but it's just like this is in the source. This
Yeah.
is something that's going to be,
Yeah.
I can Google it I can find it on Reddit, but but it's like, and it's not even just like you said, it's not even just the booty and the breath, but it's almost, I don't know, maybe I'm getting too deep, but it's almost even the lighting used or whatever. Is there and I guess I can almost answer this myself, but what is the push, or do you, and because I know you don't do it, but what is the push to staying in this bubble from a, because I know we talked about film, but from a photography standpoint, Why is there such a push to stay in that same block, in that same bubble, in that same neighborhood as far as black photographers?
From the push is coming from the photographer or people hiring the photographer?
Well, I guess maybe it's from the people hiring. And it just seems like from a creative standpoint, again, like you said, and I maybe didn't think of it that way, but maybe the people that are hiring them are asking for these things, but it just seems as though,
I got you.
you know what I mean?
So here's the number one rule. As a photographer, you have to understand that you will not be hired for anything no one has seen you do.
Right,
So if I want to do food photography and all you see are people, I'm never going to get hired as a food photographer.
right,
Same thing with fashion. Same thing with booty cheeks. I don't get calls for booty cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get calls for eye candy because that's not in my portfolio. I get calls
right.
for portraiture, engagements, maternity, conferences, fashion stuff like
Mm,
editorials. I get calls for that. I don't get calls for um we dancers and we want to show that we got new matching tattoos that wiggle when my booty wiggles. Like
right. It
that's
winks when
beautiful.
I turn to
It'd
the
be
left.
like this. Like that's nobody wants to see. So the rule is if you don't shoot it, I can't hire you for it.
Right.
So as a photographer, I had to build my portfolio in a way that would not only attract clients that I'm interested in attracting, but it would stand out in the space that it lives in. Right.
Hmm.
Every photographer is not for everyone, and I will be the first one to say this. People look at photography and they say, "Oh, that's a nice camera." And I'm like, that's not how you look at photography because you don't look at cooking and say, "Oh, well that was a nice oven." Right?
Right.
It's about the person behind the camera, the person behind the stove putting the ingredients together. So when I'm putting my ingredients together, you're saying, "Oh, I want to hire him because I like what he put out there and I can see it and it represents something that I want as part of my brand." Right?
Hmm.
Um, if you're trying to hire a food photographer, you're not going to come to me. I'm going to recommend Maddie, right?
Right.
I'm going to, hey, Madeline, she does food photography. I do this. This person, like Dexter, does high fashion. Like these are the things that we do.
Right.
So yeah, everyone has their own lane, and not necessarily. I don't necessarily have to exist in all of those lanes at the same time. But to kind of bring it back, when people hire me, they know what they're getting based on my portfolio, not
Right.
based on like because if somebody comes to me and they're like, "I want booty," I don't do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can, but I don't do that. So
Do you feel like, and both from a photographer standpoint and from a film standpoint, me having now just stepped my pinky toe into acting to the acting world, do you feel like there's, again, both photography and film, like there's a, people almost feel a unsaid pressure to do certain things? And what I mean by that is, like Tubi, for instance, there are, I didn't, when Tubi first came out, it was a joke, right?
yeah,
But there are some good films on Tubi. But I think that a lot of people feel like, in order to Tubi being kind of a first, not even the first line, I don't really know how it works, but in order for me to get my film out there, because it's not going to hit Netflix right away, maybe I can put some on Tubi. But it almost feels like there's a particular formula that you may go a little bit outside of, but there's got to be somebody getting shot. There's got to be some
yeah,
some drug dealers and hustlers. And again, some of these are great films,
hmm
but it just seems like the formula is the same.
it is, and I relate films to music, sometimes appealing to what will, for lack of a better term, the lowest common denominator,
Mm,
meaning like these are the things that everybody generally is liking these days, right? Drugs, sex, violence. If
yeah.
I've got those three things in my song, then it's going to get airplay.
Mm,
If I've got those three things in my movie, then it's going to get views. We're kind of conditioning society to look at these three things, and those criteria make what is called a black film or a black song.
Yeah.
We got to get out of that
Yeah.
because it wasn't always like that. There used to be a wide variety of stories told in our music and in our films and television. Unfortunately, the lowest common denominator right now in film is violence, sex, drugs. If you
Right.
put those together, that's very, very atypical. I mean, it's very typical of a lot of the stuff that you see on Tubi.
Hmm.
So, and I have friends that make Tubi movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But I think that there is a space beyond it that other films and filmmakers can exist within.
Right.
It doesn't have to all just be one thing. I think I think when you try to have just one thing, you miss out on a lot. I'm in the middle
He
of
agrees.
it, but not now. I will come and holler at you when I'm done with the interview, okay?
He really agreed with that point. He was like, let me come in here. Let me say something real
He
quick.
brought me a picture of Sonic. I already know because that's his nerddom.
See,
He's
that
all about
fit.
Sonic.
That fit. Sonic. That fits.
Yeah.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I'll say to what you say, I agree. I think the only real example that I can say of a film on Tubi that is breaking that stereotype, that'll be on Tubi March 2026
uh,
at the latest, is
oh,
Tables Turned,
tables.
starring some guy. I think his name's Moses,
Oh, word.
as Officer Terry Johnson. Officer, not a drug dealer,
All right.
not a gangbanger,
Back up,
police
Terry.
officer.
Back up, Terry.
Oh, Terry, what you doing, Terry?
Back up, Terry.
Come on, Terry. What you doing, Terry?
Oh, Terry. Oh, God. Okay. I send that meme to my sister every 4th of July.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I think at this point, I wanted to get more in this be your opportunity to talk to Black film writers, filmmakers, creators of any kind of creator. Because I mean, a lot of this stuff is, as you know, transferable. So I may not do film, but I'm a creator of some sort, or I may not write, but I'm a creator of some sort. Um, how how do you feel Black creators, creators of any kind, should prepare for the reality of limited grace? And that's something we talked about before. But by limited grace, I mean like with these examples that you have of, and I keep messing up, I keep butchering her last name, Ava DuVernay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she heard the example with her. Now I took my daughters to see Wrinkle in Time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for me. And it's not to say that it wasn't for adults, because there are a lot of people. My sister grew up reading A Wrinkle in Time. I wasn't reading. I didn't care about books, but because
I'm
she was
proud of
like kind of
son, man.
I can read, you know what I'm saying? I can read
Oh,
a
what
little bit.
books are.
But she was, I remember that movie was dumped on quite a bit, and not that she didn't survive it. I mean, everybody still knows her name, but however, I feel like there were other films. There's a myriad of other films. I'm pretty sure I used myriad right there, but there were a myriad of other films where, because their creators weren't Black
Mm.
or women, or Black women specifically, they got quick responses. I mean, I guess before, because I know I already asked the question, but before that, leading into grace, have you seen, or are there any examples that you have of people who maybe got more grace than you feel like they should have, because their melanin may not have been that much, or vice versa?
So somebody making a film that wasn't great, getting more opportunities.
Right. Or film, TV, whatever it
Well,
is.
it's fascinating, man. Like, and I don't necessarily have to be specific about it because you could just check an IMDb, but there's a few films that came out in the last few years that were directed or written by people who have like one writing credit or
Mm,
one directing credit. And it's fascinating to me. I'm like, how? Okay, I'll name one. Axel F.
hmm.
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Oh God.
That
Yeah.
movie was done by a guy who has only short Apple TV like Apple commercials. Like,
Wow.
and I was like, how the hell did he get an action comedy based on this Apple commercial that takes place in an office in one, like in two locations?
It felt like it. It felt like an Apple commercial.
And I was like, what am I watching? I just,
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. Right. So I'm all for people getting an opportunity, but to me, it's
Mhm.
like to go from doing an Apple commercial, jumping to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
There seems like a couple of steps to kind of happen in between there, right? Better yet, here, since we're talking about nerddom, I'll go back in time a little bit.
Way back in the
Not
time.
even that far. There's a little genre of films called Star Wars.
It's I've heard of it somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Small. Yeah.
So they decided to return to making films 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Hmm.
Great. Everybody's excited. That was 10 years ago this month. The person that they hired, J.J. Abrams, had just kind of mangled Star Trek. Star Trek was always supposed to be more idealistic
Hmm.
and a little less about pew pew and a little more cerebral. He made it a little more about pew pew.
Right.
He comes along in Star Wars. He doesn't set up he doesn't set up the next three films to be good films to me. But the film makes $2 billion at the box office.
Hmm.
So there's the grace. Like the money was made. Now, what happened next is the thing that splits the Star Wars fandom in half. Probably not even half anymore. It's probably like 70-30 or maybe even 80-20. Ryan Johnson, who at that point had only done like two films, was given free reign to do the next installment of Star Wars, and he screwed it up
Which one?
terribly.
Which ones was that?
The Last Jedi.
Okay.
So hold on, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at this just so I'm sure that I'm saying this correctly. Because his films before that, he did Looper. Did you see Looper with Bruce
Uh,
Willis and
no,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I'm thinking of Jumper or Jump something, but
Okay,
no.
so Looper he did in 2012. Before that, he did something called Brick in 2005, and then it was like a bunch of random like little shorts. And then he directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. So he went from Looper, which was okay, it wasn't great, to a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad, and then all of a sudden he's directing a Star Wars movie.
One of the largest. Okay.
And I'm like, what? Now this is before Knives Out became a thing. This is
Right.
and you are the middle movie, you're the middle film in a 3 film trilogy, and you killed the villain, you left the hero on an island to die alone, and you gave the next filmmaker who you're passing the baton to nothing. And so the third film that comes along goes back to J.J. Abrams, and he's got to reassemble something, and that's how you get somehow Palpatine returned. The nerds get it. So it's that to me is the example of grace extended, where you're like, well, okay, they made money, but were they good movies? No,
Hmm.
they were not good movies. They were not good movies in any way, shape, or form. You had a hero that had no flaws. There's no journey. There's
Right.
no hero's journey there, right? Um, and then he was given Knives Out, and then he was given Knives Out 2, and then he was given out. I think he just did another Knives Out movie.
There's another. It slowly got worse.
Right. So,
Yeah.
all right. So here's Ryan Johnson. He's allowed to come in, screw this all up, and then just walk away like he didn't just torch the whole house and burn it down.
Yeah.
The people that are in charge of Star Wars, the ones that make the decisions, they are allowed to fail upwards because not only did they greenlight all of this, they still have jobs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine a black filmmaker that could mess up like that and people give them grace to go on and keep making as many movies as you want.
I believe it or not, have an example.
Hmm.
I had to research it because I don't know it. Uh, and I think I told you before. I didn't know that. I actually did a full one of my. I don't remember if it was episode. Maybe it was episode 2
Hmm.
of this, and I specifically talk about the Marvels
Hmm.
and how trash and horrible it was because that whole episode was about female led comic book movies and how it's not that most men, there are some assholes, but it's not that most men don't like female led movies. It's just that the studios do such a terrible job on them.
Hmm.
But I didn't realize that was written by Nia. Is it Nia DaCosta?
Yeah.
Nia Costa and Nia DaCosta,
Yeah.
who I didn't realize was black, who also did
Candyman.
Candyman, the reboot,
Yeah.
which wasn't critically acclaimed. Um, but I haven't seen anything since then. Now maybe there's something else because again, I don't know her IMDb. I don't know her credits, but
Hmm.
it was I only hear about the negatives of Star Wars stuff from Star Wars people
Sorry.
because I don't write it. No. I'm saying it should be something that's so storied, such a storied, uh, franchise.
Yeah.
When you destroy something storied, it should be everybody talking about it, not just the fans. Because the
Mhm.
fans, like you said, though it should be the fans that determine whether you're a failure or not, it's the studios. But I feel like if like a Ryan Coogler, obviously that's not his lane, but if a Ryan Coogler bombed the Star
If
Wars
he bombed
thing,
Black Panther.
we wouldn't say again.
If he bombed Black Panther.
If he bombed back Black Panther, and I think they were waiting for him to. They wanted him to. Sinners, and I told you that before. Sinners, I didn't realize broke records, but if you were to just listen to the critics,
Hmm.
you would have thought it was the biggest piece of trash that ever came out. Which I thought it was the greatest movie of the year, but
Yeah.
it's just
There are some people who are afraid of someone who's talented and has a vision,
mm,
unapologetic,
and
right?
doesn't need you to do it.
Doesn't need you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There's nothing the studio could have done to make that film better
right.
because it all came from here, right? And a lot of his films are like that. They all come from here. I think that Ryan is a phenomenal filmmaker. I think Nia DaCosta is very talented. I think she just has to be given something that she can really sink her teeth into.
Right.
But a lot of times studio films want what the studio wants. There's actually a show on Apple TV called The Studio
Hmm.
with Seth Rogen, and it really is interesting because he kind of shows how studios kind of meddle a little too much.
Hmm.
So if you get a chance to watch it on Apple TV, you should definitely check it out.
One day I'll be able to afford Apple TV. I'm hoping. So subscribe, everybody.
Like,
Subscribe.
um,
I'm trying to get Apple TV, guys.
but you can even look at some actors like Ariana DeBose, who I think is incredibly talented. She won
Mm,
an Oscar. I haven't seen her in anything that's like Oscar level
yeah.
since
Is she like a
she
because she came from Broadway,
came
right?
from Broadway. Yeah,
Is she like a I'm just staying with Broadway even though I did these
I
films?
don't think
Or
so.
is- oh,
I don't think so. I mean, she just starred in another film with Ki Hui Kwan, the guy from Goonies,
mm-hmm,
grew up and won an Academy Award. They were in a film together, and it was not. I don't think anybody ever saw it.
mm-hmm.
But these are two Academy Award winners. They're people of color,
Yeah.
but there was nothing like pushing it. Like, hey, see these. It's interesting. Somebody, was it Quentin Tarantino? He was like, we don't have any movie stars anymore.
True.
He was like, Chris Evans is Captain America, and outside of Avengers, who's Chris Evans?
Johnny Storm.
Right. There's
That's about it.
outside of Marvel Cinematic
Yeah.
Universe, Chris Evans isn't driving people to the theaters. Oh, I gotta go see that Chris Evans movie.
Yeah.
It's
Captain America
if he's
is
Captain America, I'm there. Right.
right.
Denzel is one of those guys where it's a Denzel movie, I'm going to go see it, right?
Yeah.
But there's not like if Tom Cruise is always Tom Cruise, but you're still going to go see the Tom Cruise movie.
Right.
You have very few and far between, and then when you get to the younger generation, it's like, you don't have names that are driving you to the theater. Like The Rock, yes, for a certain amount of time, he was bringing folks into theaters, and now it seems like kind of waning off. Oddly enough, in a year that he does a movie where he's actually acting,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And from what I understand, he did a great job in the film. I didn't get to see it because it was in and out of theaters just that fast.
Right.
So, I think it's interesting. I was just watching. This is messed up. We're gonna get off of this subject. I was just watching somebody break down Dakota Johnson,
Dakota Johnson.
Madam Web,
That's Don Johnson's daughter, right?
Madam Web.
Oh gosh.
Some she was he was with my mother in the Amazon looking for spiders. Like, they talk about her acting in this.
Her and Gail Godot.
Oh God.
Kal-El.
No. Give me the
Kal-El,
stone.
no.
Give me the stones.
Kal-El,
Kal-El.
no.
No. It's just that bad. It's so bad. And they talk. It's actually the funny thing is they do videos on both. So
Yeah.
there's Gal Gadot and then there's Dakota Johnson. They're like they're so like not interesting actresses to watch.
Yeah.
Yet they keep getting all of these like major roles. And like I love the first Wonder Woman movie.
Hmm.
The second one, horrible.
It's like they wanted to fail.
Dude,
That's
I
what
don't
it
know
felt
what
like.
they wanted. It couldn't have been this.
Yeah.
It could not have been this. But Dakota Johnson in Madam Web, she delivers all of her lines. She was also in 50 Shades of
50
Grey.
Shades of Grey, yeah.
So if you ever watched any of it, it's the exact same dry delivery. And oh my gosh, I can't believe he's a billionaire. To oh my gosh, we're in the Amazon hunting spiders with my mom. To oh my gosh, do you know who my mom is? Like, it's the same, but they keep failing her up. They keep
Yeah.
giving her all these opportunities, and I'm like, okay, you have Dakota Johnson over here who's not really an interesting actress. She's the daughter of Melanie Griffith, who's also very kind of right.
Hmm.
But then you have an Ariana DeBose who just won an Academy Award, and she's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
is a true from the small amount I've seen, is a true like actress because she's had to do it on stage, which I
Yeah.
think brings out a different muscle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's kind of like, well, damn, like, all right, do you just go back to Broadway for a little while and just kind of wait your turn? Or do
Yeah.
you keep trying to plug away at, here? Like, I'm not an advisor. I couldn't tell her what to do. I met her
Hmm.
once. Very nice. I met her and Coleman Domingo. They were dancing salsa, which was pretty cool. Coleman
Where is
Domingo.
Journey Smollett? Where
I'm sure you want to
is
know.
Journey Smollett? She should be on everything.
Dear Journey, Moses would like to have you on his podcast.
Blerd. Hell, we can call it The Journey.
The
Just
Journey.
take The Journey. I'll change the name.
Journey Smollier.
Smollier. And I would probably, if I ever met her, I'd probably slip up and mistakenly be
Don't
like,
do that.
"Hi, Miss Smollier." Shit. I'll leave.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah. I'll see myself out.
But yeah, failing upwards and looking at not just black creators, but also other people of color. A lot of times they don't get the same opportunities, even when they're more qualified and they've already won awards and accolades, whether it's on the directing side or in front of the camera. It's one of the most frustrating things, and it's kind of one of those reasons why you want to stay as an independent creator, because then you're not stuck doing what a studio wants you to do. You're able to do what you want to do. So
Right.
yeah.
Dope. Hey man, I would love for you to kind of give a shout out to folks like I mentioned before, as far as creators, and just kind of what they need to do, some inspiration, I guess, to creators to get like you,
Um,
to get to that next level and whatever it is they're doing.
So if I'm gonna, I guess if I was gonna say anything to up and coming creators, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
Um, be honest with who you are, so that you get an honest product or film or photo or whatever. Um, if you're trying to be like someone else, it won't come off authentic, and people can see
Mhm.
through that very quickly.
Yeah.
So don't try to be somebody's, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be Belly because it's the story that I lived. You grew up in the suburbs of Detroit.
Streamwood, Illinois.
You grew you grew up in Bloomfield Hills. You went to Brother Rice High School. What are you talking about?
Right.
So be yourself. You know what I mean? And I would suggest filmmakers, uh, actors, write as much as you can. Don't use Chat GPT. Sit
Yeah.
down, learn how to write, use the story arc that's out there, it's all over the internet that you can use, but learn how to go on the hero's journey, whether it be 15 minutes or an hour and a half. Figure out how this person goes through this story, how they change and how they come back and they're different, right? That is how a story works. There's a change that has to happen. And you can only do that if you're being honest with who you are and who your characters are. So the more you write, the better filmmaker, actor, director, producer you're going to be. That's all I can really say about that. I found all of my old notebooks.
If you don't show, it ain't happen. God, dog. Mine is about half of that, and it's poetry and music.
There's more.
He was like, "This is all I could carry."
These are songs. These are poems. These are short stories.
Damn.
Mostly every page is covered in all of these. Like,
You got me looking for mine now. I got some. I got some. You know,
where
I can bring out books. I've got books.
room? Yeah. There you go.
See,
That's
I
a
just I just broke something, but
oh yeah. So that's gangster.
with the shade,
Yeah,
with the shading. Check them out.
yeah. So um, just write,
Yeah.
write a lot. That's every notebook that I have going back to like 1994.
Wow,
And there's
you're
probably like another.
old.
Hey,
94?
yeah.
That's how my kids talk to me. 94? Yeah.
Born in
What are you
the 90s,
talking about?
1900s. Yeah,
Word.
you jerk.
Hey man, I
Yeah.
want you to if you can kind of let folks know where they can find your work or where they can look for you, with your socials, run all of that down, any upcoming
Oh yeah,
projects.
yeah. My social security number is 123.
Yeah. We're gonna bleep that out and I'm gonna keep it.
um, at Jackson Photo Group, JAXON Photo Group, or jacksonphotogroup.com, spelled the exact same way. Um, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. I am on. I am not on the Twitter. I am on the TikTok for now.
The tickety talks.
Now that it's being taken over, so I'm probably not going to be on there long.
Right.
Um, and you can find me, on any of those social platforms. So
Are you I know you every so often you'll post like where you're gonna be as far as, when you looking for people that are hiring you or whatnot, what cities you're gonna be in because you're all over. Do you have anything upcoming as far as from a photo shoot standpoint?
I'm actually booking for New York in January and DC for February.
Bet.
So we'll be looking to go out here and do corporate headshots. I'm starting to book conferences for 2026. So I travel, I shoot conferences in different cities, shoot weddings in different cities. So all of that stuff will help take care of my children.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Well, in closing, because this is my first in closing, because they've all been prior to this, me talking to myself.
Nice.
I want to tell you I appreciate you, man. I for a million different reasons, but just for a lot of the stuff that you shared on this, you shared with me, and obviously I'm not in film or behind the camera, but it's all been applicable, which is why I wanted to have this conversation. Everything that you said today is stuff that you said over to me over the last decade or 2 decades, and I've applied it to a lot of the things that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I can see the change. I can see the shift.
Yeah. I see the whiteboard
Um,
behind you, man.
say it again.
I see the whiteboard behind you. You know, I see
Yeah,
Blerd.
man, that's
Yeah.
only half of it.
You
I
got
only,
acting over there. That's what's up.
I didn't want to. I didn't want people to see the plans that's on the left,
Right. Right.
but I got it split up into books, design, fitness, et cetera, et cetera. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that was inspired by you. So I'm hoping that anybody listening, if from whether you're a creator or not, regardless of what it is you're doing, I hope you can pull something from this. If you do, and if you can, like, subscribe, comment, share, all of those things, and reach out to Jack. He gave you his information. I'm going to put it in the comments, and then we obviously are going to see Mr. Manning on quite a few more times. Like I said, it'll be Blerd Brain and Friends, and it'll be kind of a regular thing. So yeah, man, if there's anything you want to say prior to we jump out and have that music come in.
To me, my X-Men. Okay.
All right, brother. I
All right, brother.
appreciate you, man.
Thanks.